Hey guys, welcome to the walkthrough of the ticketing template. As you can see, I just finalized all the flows. They're all inside the done folder. So let's take a look at how it works. We are going to begin with the main customer service flow. So if we go and head inside, you will see that we first are going to clear a few values because otherwise we might get false positives when a user comes back inside of this flow. We want to get the user off with a clean slate. Now we are going inside the first function flow, which will be to check the user's name. So this actually needs to be just user's name, not first name. There we go. And inside this flow, we will first check if the first name has any value, if the first name is not guessed, and if last name has any value. If so, then we already captured the user's name. If not, we're going with the second condition check, and that is to check if the user has any first name value and is not guessed. If so, then we're going with this last name condition check. If we have it, right, then we are going to set the user's name to first name, last name, and then we are going back inside the output node. If the user does not have any valid first name, we're going to ask for it, we're going to confirm it, and then we're going to check with a condition check whether or not the user has a last name as well. So let me just change this directly here on the node during the live recording of this walkthrough. So let's say check user's last name. There we go. Let's publish. So this is the first function flow where we will check the user's name. So not only the first name, but also the last name, because we need this for a ticketing service, right? Then if we go back inside the customer service main flow, we're also going to ask for the user's email, because most times when doing support, we might need to follow up outside an allowed live chat window, like on Messenger you have 24 hours. Then we need to send an email first to get the user back inside the chatbot again, or just communicate by email only, right? So we are going to go and check for the user's email. Inside, we're going to do a first condition check. Basically, does the user already have a tag in status email status verified? If so, we're going to ask them if the email is still correct or it needs updating. If they say no, it is correct, then we are going directly towards the output node for the email verified. Otherwise, we're going to ask for the email. The user is going to give the email itself, and then we are going with a verify user's email. This is to protect your domain sender reputation, and you can use any kind of API, free email verifier API that you like to. I implemented this one because I really like this one. So after this video, then I will make sure that I also address the link towards this specific API so you can sign up for an account if you do not have it. But basically what this API does, and if we take a look inside, at this moment in time, I don't have an API key found in the request. But if we take a look here, you will see that we have a few values that we map. So that is the email score, the email suggestion, and the valid email. In the next step, we're first going to check if the email is a valid email. The response that we get back from the API call is true or false, and that will result in 1 equals true and 0 equals false. If it's 1, then we can say, okay, the email is verified, and we can add a tag and then give a confirmation and send the user towards the output. But if the email is not valid and it's not being able to be delivered, then we need to go towards the second one. Does the email suggestion have any value? If so, we're going with this question. So your email, and then the email system field came back as invalid, but by chance did you mean this email suggestion? This is a fantastic feature by this email verifier API, because for example, if you spell the domain incorrectly, like dot or at gmail.com, and you spell at glmail.com, then you will get an email suggestion, and you can use that to make the experience for the user a little bit easier. If they say, yes, I meant this email, then we're going to do another email verification, but this time we're not going to use the email system field, but the email suggestion system field, as you can see here. And from there, we will basically go and confirm the condition steps again. Once it's ready, then we will go and head into the output node of the email verified. There we go. And then the user has verified their email. The next step is, if we take a look at the customer service flow, so we have the two function flows covered now, is that we will go inside to fetch the FAQ topics from a Google Sheet. If we take a look inside, we're first going to select the topics from the FAQ topics worksheet, and that will look something like this. So any kind of FAQ topic that you want to implement, you will just add towards this list, towards this column. And basically what the chatbot does is it will automatically fetch all of these topics. Once done, it will save it towards a JSON field. And from this JSON field, we are going with this question block. We're going to let the user make a choice by going with a question block with choice type. And from this one, we are going to give a dynamic answer. This dynamic answer contains all the topics that we have fetched from this support topic. We're going to save this towards a custom field called ticket underscore FAQ underscore topic. And then we can continue towards the next step. If the user, however, says, okay, I want to submit a ticket, then the user will go directly towards the submit ticket flow, the ticket creation. But if not, if they just gave or they just pressed any of these buttons, right, then we will go towards this step. And just to avoid any confusion, what you can also do instead of auto continue is just to move this FAQ, this dynamic FAQ topics overview, this choice directly towards this confirmation step. What we're then going to do is we're going to another function flow. Inside this function flow, we now know the topic that the user has an issue with. We're now going to fetch the FAQ issues from another worksheet. So that will be, this worksheet. If we take a look here, we're going to filter based on this column. So for example, the user chose account issue problem. Then the system or the Google Sheet search will only search for these two columns and then only return these two columns or these two cells, because those two will match the topic that the user has an issue with. What happens then is we're going to save this inside of another JSON field, and then we're going to use another question block with choice and dynamic answers to display the issues. If the user chooses the issue itself, right, then the found answer, as you can see here, will be another output node. If we go inside the output node, so let's go back inside the main customer service flow. There we go. Then you will see that we will go towards the ticket FAQ issue, and this is the given sound solution. So this will basically give the solution. And if we go back towards the FAQ, because I forgot to show you one last step, because the important step here is under the dynamic answers, we are going to display the issue topics, so this column, right? But we're going to save, if we take a look at the dynamic answer, the answer value will be the item description. So that means that if a user chooses a specific problem, for example, forgot password, we're going to save this value instead inside of this custom field. And this custom field is ticket FAQ issue. And then we will go towards the output node. And on the output node itself, if we go back towards the customer service main flow, then you will see that we will display this message. So this solution. Then we will wait for 5 seconds, or for 10 seconds in this case. So let's just replace that as well, just with 5 seconds. That's more than enough to allow the user to read the answer given. And then we're going to give the user two options: back towards the FAQ or submit a ticket if the answer is not up to their needs and did not solve their issue. Now, if they say submit a ticket, we will go towards the new function flow to create a ticket. From here, we're going to take a look if the user by any chance already went through the FAQ. If so, we're going to display this FAQ issue, right? And otherwise, we are going to fetch all those FAQ topics. So from this list, we're going to fetch all of them and then display them first inside of this section. So ask the user for the topic issues, and then we will basically save that and go on with the next step where we will ask the user about the details of their issue. Once done, we're going to confirm that we received the issue. We're going to ask them if they want to have any additional information sent. And then basically a confirmation on that question, on that given extra additional data will be sent. And from here, as you can see, we will go with the assign, move, and notify action. So we're going to assign the ticket ID, as you can see here. We're going to increase the ticket ID score, which is a bot field. Then we're going to assign this new ticket ID number towards a user ticket ID custom field. Going to set the ticket status to open and mark the conversation as open. If we then go towards the next step, we will send the user the ticket ID. And then if they request view current status, then they will be applied with this tag. And once applied with this tag, they will go towards the ticket status flow, which we will go to in just a few moments. But this is the ticket creation flow. On the back end, soon as a conversation, or at least this ticket, a custom field ticket status is set to open, an automation will trigger, and that automation will trigger the move ticket to inbox board. And if we take a look here, then you will see that we have a few values here, right? So we have the user field status has been changed as a trigger. Conversation is pending is also a trigger, and conversation is done is also a trigger. That means that soon as the conversation status is open, we're going to fetch all the live chat agents with basically an API call. Then inside of this API call, we're going with basically saving all those agents inside a JSON field called live chat agents. Once done, we will go towards our JSON script, and we're going to randomly pick a certain live chat agent. If we're going to test this function, you'll see that every single time that we test it, we might get an additional other live chat agent. We're going to save this result name into a custom field, and also the result ID into another custom field, because we need that in the next step. In the next step, we're going to go with a external request where we're going to assign that specific agent that we just randomly got towards this conversation. And that's another API call. As you can see here, these values will be replaced with bot fields where you can just insert your own, basically your own API keys. From there, we are going to give a note towards the teammates, which will end up inside the live chat conversation as well. And then we will move the ticket to a board ticket system towards open. We will also set a custom field ticket created to now. And then we're going to update a Google Sheet to basically upload the new ticket. And if we take a look here at the ticket status, you will see that it will look like this. So we have the ticket ID, we have the ticket status, and this actually might be a little bit too big. Then we have the first name, last name, email, phone number if we have it. We have the live chat link. We have the assigned agent. We also have the ticket creation. So this is the ticket creation. As soon as a live chat agent takes over and puts the conversation from pending towards, from open towards pending, then this flow will start again. But this time we will go with the conversation status is pending, and then we will get towards these actions. We're going to move the ticket from the board from open towards the pending status. Then we're going to set a custom field ticket pending towards now to basically give a timestamp. And then we will have the Google Sheets update again. What happens then is that we will basically insert this ticket and also, of course, this pending status. So, for example, then this will be set towards pending. If the user puts the conversation inside the done folder, then you will see that this automation is going to get triggered, meaning we're going to get the conversation details by API call. So basically a transcript, right? We're going to move the ticket towards the ticket board system, and then in the done folder, we're going to assign a ticket closed towards now, and then update the ticket. And that will result into having the ticket timestamp for the close status. So this way you will have a nice overview inside the Google Sheets for each individual ticket. You have some analytics here as well. So you can see the ticket creation, the pending when the user takes over, an agent takes over, and when the ticket has been closed. So this is the information that you will get. From there, we will go towards the next action block where we will basically filter out all the unneeded content that we get from this transcribed user messages. So if we take a look, and I still have my API key in, I believe I do. So if we say test, then the user is not found. So I'm testing with an invalid user. So let me just grab a new user ID. Let's go towards this API call, and inside the body, let's change the user NS. Let's say test, and then you will get a lot of information back, as you can see, right? So we need to filter all of the unneeded information inside the JavaScript. But what we can do inside of this one, by the way, inside the body, we can set the limit of the messages, of the last messages of the conversation between the live chat agent and the user, right? So I will set it default as 10, and you can leave it to, you can basically go up till 100 if you wanted to. I would not advise it because otherwise the JSON script will be too big to manage. But you can do that if you really wanted to. Then the next step will be to go towards these steps, and we're going to filter out all the unneeded content. And if we test the function, then you will see that we only get the user's name, so the user's name and also the agent name, and we will save that towards another JSON field. And then the next JSON script, or the JavaScript, sorry, will then result in making this a real transcript. So that means that if we are going to say test the function, then we will get a nice looking transcript with basically a line separated with the conversation between the user and the live chat agent. Going to save this towards a custom field called ticket transcript. And once done, we can basically send a transcript by email, or you can send the user a message. And do note that this is a workflow and you cannot send the message, but you can basically do that inside of a normal regular flow. So this is how the moving towards the board works. Then for the board itself, you will see that we have a ticketing system. If all goes well, this should also be transferred with the template itself. And you will see basically the three ticket statuses. We have the open, the pending, and the done. As you can see, my ticket has been closed. So my ticket ends up in the done folder, but all the other tickets from other users will end up inside of this board overview as well. Then if we take a look at the other flows, because we do still have quite a few flows to cover, we have a so-called admin flow. Inside this admin flow, we are going to give the admin, so basically the support manager, a few options. They can use it to view the total ticket overview, which will be grabbed from the Google Sheet. We also will have the agent's performance. That will show the live chat agent's analytics over several days. Now, this flow can only be accessed by the admin of the chatbot. This is not to be confused by the admin role you might have inside the UChat workspace. To add an admin, the manager or the support manager or whoever you want to have access towards this flow needs to be inside the bot user's overview. So you will need to have him preview some kind of flow. You can send him some kind of flow, or you can just randomly type something. From there, you can go towards the tool sections, admins. You can add a new admin by just pressing it, and then you can search for that specific bot user. So if I say Mark Venemate, I will have my web chat bot user. I can just add this, and now I will have access towards this admin flow, because now I have the status of admin inside of this chatbot. Otherwise, the user will just get this deny access message, and they will need to contact the chatbot admin. If the user wants to have a ticket overview, basically what it does is we're going to fetch all the columns, all these two columns. So we're going to fetch the ticket ID and the ticket status, and we're going to fetch that inside of a JSON field. This JavaScript will then format basically the JSON response that we get back into a counting step. So as you can see, this will be some kind of JSON field. And then this JSON script, or this JavaScript, will then count all the available open tickets, pending tickets, and closed tickets. So if I just run this test value, you will see that we have open tickets 1, pending tickets 1, closed tickets 2. So if I, for example, say this, I'm going to set to open and run it again, you will then see that I will have 2 open tickets. As you can see here, open tickets 2, pending tickets 1, closed tickets 1. Going to save this inside of a text field, and then from here we're going to display that towards the bot admin. They can then choose, like, I want to go back towards the main overview, which will be this step, or they can go directly towards the agent's performance. If they go here, we are going to fetch all the available live chat agents with a certain range. By default, it's set to the last 7 days. But if you take a look at the API docs, you can set it towards yesterday. You can set it towards last week and last month. So those are the range parameters that you can use. Then we have the flow NS, and this is not the flow NS of a specific flow, but the flow NS of the chatbot. And you can find that inside the URL of the chatbot itself. So once you are inside the chatbot, and I have not shown the URL section inside of this video, but you will basically have uchat.com.au/flow and then / and then you will have your bot NS flow ID. You can then just use that and paste that inside of here. If I test this, you will see that I will get the results of the last 7 days, and then I also have a specific date. So this is the 18th of February, this is the 21st, 23rd of February. So I will get these results back. Those will be stored inside of a JSON field again. The next step will be to let the support manager basically select the statistics that they want to see. Once done, we're going to basically go and format the data into a readable transcript. And then you will get this nicely printed overview of the live chat agent performance. inside of a text message. So this is the admin flow. Then we also have several other flows. So for example, if the user wants to get a status update about the ticket, right? So as soon as a ticket has been created, they will also have a button for ticket status. They can then go towards this flow, go towards the last update ID, as you can see here. Then either we have an ID registered and we can display that, and the user can say, okay, this is the one, or they can say it's a different one. They can give the ticket ID just a number, and then we will go and search inside of a Google Sheet. We're then going to check the current status of the ticket because we saved this inside the, if we take a look inside the Google Sheet itself, you'll see that we saved the current ticket status and the ticket created because those are the fields that we need. And then inside the next step, we're going to calculate the number of days in difference between the ticket when it was created and now. This is a really cool JavaScript that it took me some time to figure out, but this is the result. So we have the ticket created, which will be fetched basically from the Google Sheet inside of this column. And then we have the now status. If we run this script, then you will see that we get the result 2, basically 2 days. If we take a look at the ticket created, it's the 21st, and the ticket date of now, or the now date, will be the 23rd. If I increase this to, for example, 28, you will see the difference of 7. We're going to save this inside of a number field, and then continue towards the next step to check how old the ticket is in days. So if it's 0, basically if it's younger than 24 hours, then we will get 0 back, and then we can say the ticket is less than 1 day old. If we get 1 day back, or 1, the ticket is 1 day old, and everything bigger than 1 day, we will map basically this way. If we go back towards that ticket status, we then have several different kinds of actions that we are going to execute. The next step would be in certain places. So if the ticket is older than 1 day, but the ticket status is still set to open, we're going to check the agent's last interaction. And this is another really cool function flow. As you can see here, we have 3 JavaScripts here and an external request. First, we're going to check the messages, the conversation of the user and the agent. Then we're going with a first JavaScript where we're going to fetch the latest agent reply with a Unix timestamp, because that is the reply and the time that we get back. In the second one, we're going to convert the Unix timestamp into a readable date and time. And the last JSON node or JavaScript node will basically calculate the hours between the last agent interaction and the now system field. So really cool stuff. All of them are working correctly. And then we will have a condition check. This is the basically the ticket last interaction greater than 8 hours. Then we're going with this output node, and otherwise we will go with the less than 8 hours output node. If we go back inside the ticket status update again, then you will see that we have different kinds of logics for the two, basically the 2 options, right? As you can see here. So for less than 8 hours, we're going to notify an agent, but for greater than 8 hours, we're going to notify the manager instead. We're going to trigger the admin notification, and here we have the live chat notification. Here we're going to set the custom field ticket agent notification, and here on the notify manager, we're going to set the ticket admin notification. And this is how this ticket status update works. So for example, if the status is pending, then we have basically the same kind of logic as with the other statuses, except for the close status, because for the close status, we're going to display this. It seems your ticket has been set to solved. Are you still experiencing an issue? If we say no, all good, then they go towards this message. And if they have another question, they can go back towards the customer service main flow. Otherwise, they will get this response. So what this does is, actually we need to add a little bit of message here. So let's just add it right now. So sorry to hear that. I'm going to reopen your ticket right now, and one of our support staff will get back to you shortly, first name, and then we set the ticket status to open. What this does is this basically resets the, and if we just publish this, this basically triggers the other flow again, which will be the ticketing move ticket to inbox board, right? So this will basically start the entire ticketing process again, assigning a new live chat agent, notifying, and so on and so on. Then we are basically almost done towards this entire template, except for the smart default reply. The smart default reply basically is an FAQ section in itself, but soon as someone triggers this message and randomly types something outside of the flows themselves, then the smart default reply will be set. And you will need to set this under the automations tab, go with default reply on top, and then set it towards the ticketing smart default reply. What this does is, if we go and head inside, you will see that we first are going to check with OpenAI if we can match any embed. If so, if the score is greater than 0.8, we're going with generating a response and then giving the response. If the score is less than 0.8, we're not going to have any kind of fallback just yet. We're now going to send the exact same user input, but then towards Dialectflow to see if Dialectflow can match anything. If no, then we will just go and search the available topics, as you can see here, go through them. Then we will go and have the ticket FAQ issues, wait 5 seconds, and then the user will basically go towards this step. If Dialectflow is able to match it, then that means that we have a certain intent score. Then we're going to search the Google Sheet, so this FAQ answer, for this column, this Dialectflow underscore intent. This means that Dialectflow has a certain intent name, and all these intent names match all the intents inside of Dialectflow. So we will search for this column, and if we match something like billing wrong amount, then it will store this section. And if we take a look here, you will then see that we are going to display that solution. Going to wait for 5 seconds and then give the user the options again. And there is a really simple way that you can import the current embeds for OpenAI. So there is also a video on the YouTube channel on how to use OpenAI embedding. But you can basically go towards this worksheet, create your own, basically your own embedding, FAQ, right? Just like in Dialectflow. But now we only have the heading and the text as columns. So I will also format this a little bit to make it more clear that these are columns. So let me just do that right now. And let's also go and make this bold. So we have a heading and we have a column for text. The heading will be the main topic, and then the text will be the solution. And basically those will match the exact same as we have here, right? So those, once you have your OpenAI embeddings, you can basically go towards File, Download, and then say, I want to download it as a CSV file. It will then download towards your computer. And what you can do then in OpenAI on your UChat workspace, once you properly connected it, you can go towards integrations, go towards OpenAI. Once integrated, you can go with new embedding, import from CSV file, and then you can just map it directly inside. You can then say confirm import, and then all those OpenAI embeddings that you have inside your Google Sheet will then be uploaded towards UChat. So this is a really great and advanced ticketing system. I think it will work for a lot of use cases, a lot of customer service, and maybe even sales agents that can work with this kind of system. If you have any questions, do let me know. If you're experiencing any issues, do send me a PM and I will help you resolve those issues. So for now, I hope you have enjoyed the new template. Have fun, try it out, and I will talk to you really, really soon.